And then, of course, there's AI.
Yes.
And that's what the next 5 or 10 years is about dealing with.
Yeah, do courses just go away altogether?
I don't think they go away, but I don't think any of us should be selling content anymore. Content is it's already over commoditized. I feel we've kind of I think we're at the peak of AI slop. Of just junky AI content. I don't think in 5 or 10 years' time, people are suddenly going to be using AI more to create blog posts. I think people are already abusing it to the height of it, because now we've seen the pushback because YouTube is demonetizing AI-generated content. Social media platforms are de-emphasizing AI content. They're now also doing a better job of flagging, hey, this thing was created by AI. So now the safeguards in terms of distribution discovery are being put in place to mitigate the junk that's coming out from AI. So I don't think it's going to get any worse, but it's already at a point where AI is kind of trashed discoverability for a large part. It's diluted trust in a big way, and it's hugely commoditized education and content. And so memberships that are cruising, that are sailing just on having the best content, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter that the stuff AI generates is rubbish, because your students don't know that. And someone can have a tailor-made action plan created by AI faster than it takes them to log into your membership site. So you need to offer something more. You need to facilitate the connection. You need to create more human experiences. You need to utilize platforms like podcasting as ways of building trust, because trusted voices are going to be even more valuable going forward. And you have to find ways to weave community into what you offer with the kind of things that we talked about. Genuinely think, sorry, I'm on the rant here.
That's all right.
I think we are so close. We are not far away from someone being able to go to an app and say, listen, I want to learn how to start a plumbing company. I don't know. I'm terrible at coming up with examples on the spot. I want to learn how to do this big thing. Create a course for me. And they click a button and the material is automatically generated. It's then turned into AI-based videos with the slides and everything like that, with AI-generated hosts and talking heads. The transcripts and supporting materials are automatically created, and it's all AI, and it's plugged into a recognizable learning management system interface. So it looks and it sounds and it's presented and it's aesthetically identical to any course that you would buy from a human person. Now, all of this can already be done. The content, of course, you can create content through AI. Videos can be created and they're getting better. Fake human presenters for your videos, synthesization of your voice. People are training AI chatbots on all of their podcast back transcripts, all their knowledge to become virtual coaches. And so when you combine, you've got agentic AI now, which can remember and nudge you and send you prompts. So you could have that with an AI-based tutor who checks in on you, who follows up, who keeps you accountable, and an AI chatbot that will answer every question that you may have following on. We are a hair's width away from that being done, and it's all possible already. It's just the interface. It's purely the UX and someone creating something that breaks through to the mainstream. We are not far away from that already. If it's not already been developed, I will eat every hat I've ever owned. And when you consider that you have sites like Udemy, for example, I don't know what's in Udemy's terms of conditions or privacy policy about what they do with your information, but Udemy has a lot of e-learning content that it could very, very easily feed on to pivot from being a marketplace for courses created by humans to being a create your own in-depth, rich course experience on demand. Udemy could be there next year. And so this is all a very long-winded way of saying content is not enough. We need to stop selling content. It's so commoditized. It's becoming about community. It's becoming about the human experience. And while e-learning content and best-in-class content is still absolutely vital, on its own, it will not get the job done. And we need to make sure the human element is there now more than ever. And we are finding ways to interweave that and the connection and the community into those learning experiences.
Yeah, I think you're spot on. I think that's exactly why it comes back to, and in fact, why podcasters are so well placed actually to make sure that memberships in future are about the person, about the host, about the expertise and skill that actually is unique to that person. It's about the taste, isn't it? Like maybe not even necessarily the expertise, because expertise is kind of just information, but it's your taste on things, like our 4-minute feedback, for example, like people trusting that we know what we're doing and therefore we can actually give that kind of feedback to somebody, and you've been able to do that exact same thing with a membership and a landing page, and
that you can be critical. That can be critical. People forget things like ChatGPT. Their product is your happiness. So people are confusing it with search. People confuse, because now obviously AI is in search so much. People confuse the MO of ChatGPT with the MO of Google. But Google's mission was to send you to the perfect solution, send you to the right website, answer your question with the best voice, the best authority, the best content. ChatGPT just wants to make you happy. ChatGPT is a yes man, and a yes man will not give you the kind of feedback that Colin Gray can give you, right? Because it doesn't want you being upset or made to feel like anything you're doing is not perfect, because if you feel that way, then you might stop paying. And people need to really understand that, I think, when it comes to ways in which they can lend their voice to a membership, to a community, and recognize that actually it's that trust, it's that authenticity that AI is never really going to be able to replicate. And podcasting is still, I think, just the best way of developing that trust. Because you're right, it's not about the expertise. It's about you. That's why I love my podcast for what we do, because I say outright to people, if you cannot stand the sound of my voice, if you think my accent is dorky, if you think I waffle and ramble too much, don't join my membership, because you're going to hate it, because there's a lot more of that. But if you vibe with my approach, if you like my way of speaking, if you like my general ethos around teaching, then you know what, of course, join the membership, because it's more of the same. So I think that is definitely where the opportunity lies, and I think the smart marketers, however you're monetizing, are going to really lean into that.
It's a very good filter. Yeah, for sure. Right. I've taken us over time, Mike, but I would be remiss if you could spare 60 seconds. It's the least important part, really, but the tech. Like, do you have a favorite stack right now for if somebody wants to go and set up a membership right now?
So I need to preface it with, of course, the right choice for you is dependent on your specific unique needs. I still love WordPress as the main content management system. It's powering the majority of websites for a reason. It's got such a huge ecosystem around it, and it gives you the flexibility and control you need. So WordPress is still my go-to as the core engine, and the best all-round plugin for me still is MemberPress. MemberPress have become the stalwarts of the WordPress membership plugin industry, and their plugin does pretty much everything you would want it to do the right way. So we use it for our own membership. Most of our members use it. Most people running WordPress-based memberships use it. So MemberPress is still my go-to. With WordPress, we use Envision Community for the forum side, but I'm toying with changing from that. Possibly to Circle. We shall see. And for non-WordPress, Kajabi is still pretty much best in class.
Okay. Yeah, we use Circle for all of our academy now, and I just love it, actually. It's definitely limited in terms of some of the customization and stuff like that, but yeah.
Well, so is Envision. Envision's still quite limited, but I do like the more social media-esque influence. Like, I think it's a real good hybrid between the UI and the experience people are accustomed to from social groups with some of the organizational structure of a more traditional forum. The app element is a big plus as well. The main thing for me is just seeing how it integrates with the WordPress side, because we've done so many custom fancy things on the WordPress side that we'll never be able to replicate anywhere else. So yeah, I need to kind of figure out the SSO side of that. But I love Circles. It's a really great platform, and a lot of big memberships have made the move to that, actually. I think Pat Flynn has his SPI Pro membership on there. Natalie Ellis has the Boss Babe Societies on there. And of course, you've got your membership on there.
Indeed. The biggest, of course.
Well, the only one you need to go to for podcasting.
Excellent. Exactly. Thank you. Thank you. And talking of which, if you need more, so we could have talked about so much more here, Mike, but if you need more, if you're out there listening, you're thinking about this, do go and check out the membershipgeeks.com. Membershipgeeks.com, isn't it, Mike?
Yes, that's the one.
And if you're in the UK as well, anywhere near Newcastle, Retain Live, the conference for membership creators. It'll take everyone through how to set up a membership too, I guess, Mike.
No, it's after that point. If you want to learn how to start a membership, membershiproadmap.com is our free course that walks you through that. But for people who have memberships up and running and they're kind of thinking, well, now what? They want to learn the strategies that are going to help them grow and scale and evolve over the next decade and beyond. Retainlive.com is the only membership growth conference there has ever been. And it's all happening on September 3rd up here in Newcastle. It's a 2-day event, fantastic speakers. Your good self, you are going to be there. I'll be probably doing something there, rambling around on stage. But we've got some great speakers, some masterminding, and a lot of fun stuff planned. So, yes.
Good stuff. All right. Thank you out there for listening. Go and check them out. I'll put all the links in the show notes, of course. And if you are interested in our academy, it's over at thepodcasthost.com/academy. That's thepodcasthost.com/academy. We'd love to have you, help you run your show.
Can I just throw in a little pro tip as well? If you are thinking of starting a membership, one of the best ways to learn about starting a membership is joining other memberships, right? That's the big scary secret. So go and join Colin's membership as a case study. So you learn how a membership works for podcasting while also learning how to podcast properly. So
perfect. And then once you've got that experience, then go and join Mike's and find out how to do it properly.
Exactly.
Great stuff. All right. Thank you out there for listening. We'll talk to you next time. Bye-bye.